basically going to be adding a little bit of extra support with some smaller gauge wire, essentially. Hello, Holly. Of course, you're going to join in once I can turn the camera on, as per usual. Yeah. You want to say hi to everybody? Say hello. Yes. Oh, yes. Put a smile. You're a good girl. Anyway, before I get too far into the stream, I should probably mention that all the music in the background is royalty-free, and you'll find the links in the post description. So yes, of course, my puppy always usually likes to come join, and we also have a kitty. Hi, Mr. Mittens. You coming to help out, buddy? Hey? Yes, hello. So, Mr. Mitz is here too. Foo's having a nap on the couch right now, so if she wakes up, maybe she'll join us later. I do have a small petting zoo, so they usually join me from time to time. So we may as well get to work straight away with working on Godzilla, I do say. Turtles Edits, hello, thanks for joining. We're going to be doing a little bit more surgery, so I'm hoping basically to get Godzilla all sealed up. So I'll turn the camera over so you guys can see just a little bit better as to what's actually going to be taking place. Make sure my lighting is not a total disgrace. Good, it's not. And Mr. Mittens. No, you don't want to help? How are you? I'm not too bad, feeling pretty good. It's been a busy day, a lot of spring cleaning today. So I've been outside pretty much all day, doing a lot of pumping of spring water, for lack of a better description, essentially. Just this here. Because, yeah, unfortunately where I live, there's a lot of snow, and generally speaking, once it starts all kind of melting off, it all starts melting off, it creates a big puddle, and yeah, my yard's a bit of a disaster, plus there's a bunch of, like, there's a bunch of dog poop, so it's just that time of year. So luckily that's all finished now, so I can work on Godzilla. Claymationzilla, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you're doing well, my friend. Jedel River, hopefully I said your name right. I do apologize if I butchered that, but yeah, I appreciate your support, thank you. So yeah, thanks for tuning into the live stream. We have Mr. Mittens as a little co-host today. Miss Fufu's taking a nap, so we have one of my zoo members. He usually likes to be on camera, he just gets a bunch of extra love and affection, so he's just like, oh, you're streaming? Here, let me join you. Every time, it never fails. That's okay. I like Mr. Mickey's.
Only at Taco Bell.
I do have two other kitties, but they usually don't, not nearly social, for lack of a better term. One was a stray adoption, and she's just kind of like, nah, I'm not, like, huge on being held or anything. I get, like, 30 seconds, so maybe one day she'll join us, but unfortunately, not today. So, anyway, I better get back, try to get some work done while petting a cat. So, turn towards over Godzilla, so we're going to add a few more, basically, layers of security by adding a lot of thin wires to basically just tie in around the spine, and then hopefully I can get him all sealed up. So, I might do some filming here and there, so we'll get some lighting adjustments probably here and there, but at the moment, I'm basically just going to be threading, hi Mitz, threading things into the spine. Trying to do this one-handed because Mr. Mitz apparently has decided he's now in property of the other hand, so you can see he's, yeah, got his little mittens just... No, daddy. This is now my hand. But where we picked up from last time, basically I made this, big coil, and JB welded things into place. Unfortunately, it looks like that may have actually popped out. So, yeah, shoot. Okay, I'm gonna finish my security layer, then we're probably gonna actually have to add JB weld. Yeah, because that didn't stick very well. It failed me. Uh-oh. Okay. Not good, Mr. Mitz. Okay. Yeah, just thinking to myself here. things have not gone according to plan. I mean, it's not terrible, at least it's good access to the back there. So I guess we're not sealing him up today because this stuff takes a long time to set. Usually it's very strong, but I guess it had some issues because there probably was a bit of contamination going on there, or it's just a very, very smooth surface. And I just realized that. That sucks. I mean, better to notice now than sealing them all up, I suppose, right? Blasphemy. Can I make Kong? Awesome, I will add another point to Kong. Him and Scar King have basically kind of been battling a lot for the next kaiju. Doug is definitely next, but I'm currently basically working on setting up... broke at the top too. Great. Live, you get to see all the mistakes I make. Anyway. I digress. Basically what I'm trying to set up here is, I mean, it's not terrible, at least it's only gonna... But yeah, it's not what I want it to do. Either way, what I'm trying to set up basically right now is a monster fight between Godzilla and Shimo, but we're experiencing some delays. Okay, Mr. Mitties. Nice chilling with ya. See you next time, buddy. So, he has vacated the premise now. I can actually probably get a little bit more work done. Okay, this kind of sucks. I really did not plan this, but at least I'll get more spring cleaning done, I suppose. But, okay, not a complete loss. So considering, I know it might be a little hard for you guys to see, but what I can see here is basically his top half is, okay, you can kind of see, you got that play there. So I've created basically a shelf for the next layer of JB Weld to just smush that in place. So he's probably going to sit there like that for another night. And hopefully that works. If not, it should be hopefully enough stability. I might, yeah. He is very top heavy. Hopefully I can get rid of this big ugly support rod that I have basically stabbed in his chest at the moment to help keep him upright. Because right now he doesn't have any muscle or skin holding him upright. So, yeah. Buttocks! Ugh, privates. Oh man, that sucks. Okay. Hopefully every days are going a lot better than mine. Because right now it was pretty good up until my return on Godzilla here. So, just trying to carve away a little bit at the back so I can get at his spine and wrap things around just a little bit better. Stuff not necessary, but it's usually kind of like a nice extra security layer, so considering he has had many problems, I'm at that point where I'm just like, yeah, I'll take any little bit that I can. And again, if you guys have any sort of... using tools. Requests or... Holly, be nice. If you guys have any requests for monsters or a scene you would perhaps like to see in the upcoming monster fight, let me know in the chat. And or if you have any questions in regards to stop motion, definitely more than willing to answer, especially if it comes into the realm of claymation. My brother is a big fan of Godzilla. Genius Godzilla animation, stop motion. Awesome. I'm guessing your brother's quite a big fan then as well. It's a lot of fun, honestly, kind of doing Godzilla stop motions, especially having them rampage and just kind of destroy things. Probably one of my favorites, excuse me, favorites thus far is, okay, cool, you can kind of see him on screen, is Godzilla -1 versus the zombie dinosaur. Considering that video success, I'm probably going to be doing a bit of a series on Godzilla's fighting zombie dinosaurs, so everyone will have that to look forward to. And there will be a certain other king that will probably be well, maybe the cause and influence for everything just kind of not going according to their plan. I'll leave it at that. No spoilers from now on. But there's lots for him to look forward to, I'll put it that way. Not to mention, this, after, whatchamacallit, my Godzilla surgery or animation preparation video is released. Essentially, should be approximately 2 weeks for the next animation. So you'll have a couple supercuts to look forward to as well, where basically you can binge the entire building process of, well, not the entire building process, a vast majority of it, on Shimo and Legendary Godzilla. Lives might be almost a better way to kind of see how things are going, because you kind of see how things work out in real time. I can hear Fu snoring in the background. Sweet little puggy dreams. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not, but yes, awesome. Glad he's looking forward to all that. Definitely should be a lot of fun. I'm sure he's already a subscriber. If not, make sure he is. Yeah. Every one of you counts, and it's been quite awesome. I totally am just kind of flabbergasted on how well things have been going with the channel lately. So yeah, I, again, appreciate every one of your support. You guys are basically the influence to why I work so hard on all this stuff every day. So, thank you. Probably just gonna add one more layer of thin stuff, and then we're gonna mix up some JB Weld. Which kind of leaves me stuck, because I'm just, yeah. See, there could be a really short stream or a long one. We'll see how many people tune in, and I'll just start, yeah, maybe hanging out with you guys in the chat a little bit more at that point. But, yeah. This has not worked well. I mean, I guess I would have been stuck doing this either way, schedule it, so I guess this is just where you get to see all the problems that, unfortunately, making massive claymation movie monsters kind of has. See, I just like to twist this stuff up so it stays all knotted together. That way you don't have anything to really worry about nearly as much. Hopefully, a good chunk of the good chunk of the plasticine clay will help it stay in place, I do say. Jonathan Godzilla, hello, thanks for tuning in. We're continuing back surgery on Godzilla, where things unfortunately have not turned out as well as I'd hoped. The JB Weld has not held. Because, yeah. Luckily, I think it'll still work out, because basically that stuff will provide a shelf for what I've already done. So, guess you guys in the live stream get to get a little bit more information as to how much of a pain in the butt is to make these guys, but yeah. You can see there's a bit of a separation issue here. So what I'm going to do is basically, in a bit, is mix up some JB Weld, shove it in between that crack, and then just smush them down, and then leave them here overnight. And hopefully that has completely sealed off, because, yeah. He needs more back support. Obviously, he's pretty sloppy. He doesn't have any muscles holding him in place right now, but we'll slowly but surely get there. Unfortunately, I was hoping that the thicker gauge wire that I ended up using was going to work just fine, but it hasn't. So, here we are with a split open Godzilla back. I noticed a few people in the short that I posted were like, I don't know if I like this very much. It actually looks like a spine. I'm like, well, I suppose that's probably a good thing. I mean, in theory, if it looks like it, shouldn't it work better? I didn't mean it to actually, kind of represent that, but I suppose the coil kind of does. At this point, I'm kind of ruining that aesthetic by adding all this extra wire, but like I stated earlier, this is just kind of like an extra security measure slash failsafe to kind of just make sure that coil stays attached with everything, and yeah. that with the plasticine clay should be a good security measure, I think. So basically, kind of like sewing. I almost feel like I should have a medical mask on right now. This is some backyard surgery that we're doing here, I guess. Hopefully I don't leave any of my tools inside them. You're falling over, aren't you, buddy? I'm gonna have to try and come up with maybe a better support rod setup for all this stuff. Unfortunately, there's no real set of instructions for the things that I build, so that's always kind of difficult. Jurassic Lucas, thanks for tuning in. Hello, buddy. Work continues on Godzilla today. Love the -1 sculpture. Yeah, honestly, he's probably my favorite. He's a lot more well balanced than this guy. I haven't even really had a chance to play with him, and he's been a pain in the butt so far, so yeah. I'll be on your side with this one. I kind of prefer -1. Oh, okay, I see. Cool. Yeah, I recognize that name then. Cool. Nice to see that there's like a small group, family group kind of just hanging out, chilling, watching me stream as I thread the needle with Godzilla spines. Awesome. Cool. Thanks, guys. What else do we got here? Well, I tried to make sure my Godzilla's balanced. Okay. All caught up. But yeah, so I'll continue my Godzilla spine sewing project. Might grab this smartphone that's laying off over the side there and no speak of the English apparently today. Might catch just a little bit of footage here, because I do have some of it before I started streaming, but not really a lot. So it'd be nice to probably just kind of tie off this section or scene by just getting that last little bit of tugging in there. Sounded inappropriate. It's not what I meant, YouTube.
You can help transform lives.
But yeah, glad you love -1 because he's oh, this guy's now bumping up against him. Luckily, he's a lot sturdier. Sorry, Legendary. But he will probably be the main character on the whole zombie dinosaur war that I plan on doing. There'll be another character involved, but I think I mentioned the name on an earlier stream, so I guess you're just gonna have to watch those and find out. If you'd already tuned in at that point, you already know who I'm referring to, but no more spoilers. Now, actually, whilst I'm doing this, I should probably bring this up. I've dived down a lot of weird stop-motion rabbit holes, and a lot of, can't remember a lot of their names at this point, but there's a lot of famous people that used to do, like, giant dinosaurs and things such as that nature for stop-motion, and a lot of them would use armature wire, very similar to what I'm doing here. But instead of using, say, really thin wire, they would use basically cloth to help kind of keep everything tied together. And then they would actually use sponges and various other things to actually keep that in, but I just don't think that would work very well in my case, because basically what they would use is latex skin, so that way you don't get that weird boiling effect with the clay, but I'm using clay, so sponges and that don't really mix very well. I'll just put it that way. it wouldn't adhere very well, so I'm just kind of stuck making extremely big, heavy characters, which is kind of nice to a degree. I find there's a fine balance with them. I think -1 was kind of the perfect line. This guy's definitely pushing those limits, unfortunately, so that's why we're here. Otherwise, I would probably, yeah, be drawing, because usually I kind of like to draw out my storyboards, but I think this time we're just going to go off everything in my head, because that's what I did for the zombie dinosaur fight, so that worked out well. Saved me a bit of time, I suppose you could say. But every now and then it is kind of nice to make out a cheat sheet if you're doing a big, long, complicated animation. Because every now and then you get extremely long nights doing stop motion and you're like, oh god, where was I? Oh yeah! Little reminder. Not to mention, a lot of professional studios generally do that too, so it was kind of something that I wanted to get familiar with on top of it as well, just because it's like, I've never actually really done that. I think I just broke a spike. Uh-oh. Yep. Don't tell Godzilla. Oops. That's okay. Little bit of modeling glue will fix that. Unfortunately, this container has not been very well cherished, so I kind of have to do a couple interesting things. I have a knife that I do not, sculpting knife that I basically don't use for anything other than scooping out glue. So, yeah, maybe not the best method or recommended, but I'll admit, this tool, I only actually use this end, which is referred to as a rake, which is really good for just scraping away layers of clay. So, this end, it's cupped weird, I just don't really ever use it. I prefer a straight edge, something that doesn't have a weird bend to it. So, in that case, it actually works really well for scooping out modeling glue. How to do things inappropriate. Because yeah, unfortunately, basically the glue has worked so well that it has sealed the container off and I can't get at that, so I just unscrew it. This container is really just about had it. I should probably just go buy a new one and throw it out, but because this sucks. But there's still a lot in there, and I'm like, I don't want to waste that. Okay. Might just be risky. Really try not to get this stuff on your hands because it'll dry pretty much instantly. Come on. I'm impatient. Maybe it is done. Shoot. I can't tell. I assumed there was some in here. Just force my way in. Oh yeah, there's lots. I did it all dry. No, I think it's all dried. This has not gone well. Is it dry? Apologize, guys. It's late at night, and I do not live in a city. I am rural. So, can't exactly just run out and go get new stuff. Damn it. Oh, man. Okay. I think this is done. That's no fun. We'll have to fix that spike later, or maybe... whilst I have the JB weld out, I'll just use that. That'll work. Jade Rail, well, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you have a good night. Jurassic Lucas. And Judzilla 1010, hello. Dr. Moose. That one's funny, I like that one. Dr. Moose is on the loose, which is breaking a bunch of spikes today. Ooh. Alright, Godzilla. We'll just put that back and pretend it hasn't happened for now. No, I am not in Calgary. I could see why you would probably think of that because of my hat. I did a trip or a museum tour a while ago to Alberta. So, I wish I lived there, but no, I do not live in Alberta. I am from Canada, though, I won't give too much information away other than technically I live in the place that is home to the arguably world's largest Tyrannosaurus Rex. And no, it's not Sue. So, I'm not an American. There is one that is debatedly bigger than her. But the air origins for Scotty is much larger than, say, Sue. I'll put it that way. Oh, we got Doug fans in the chat again. Yes, I know, Doug is number one. Currently, I'm basically sewing a Godzilla spine back together. So, once all this is done and Shimo and Godzilla have their face off, then we'll probably start working towards getting a Doug here, I think. We'll see what my clay inventory says. If anything, I would definitely push Biollante right now. Let me just kind of check over my shoulder. Yeah, because that actually, I do have a lot of green plasticine. So I could probably get halfway through making one of those massive things, because she is big. It'd be another really massive one. But it would be cool. Anyway. Yeah. Almost done with this stuff, and then I think I'm gonna bust out the JB weld. So, we're gonna just tie these two sections of spinal cord together. And then I'll probably capture just that last little bit of line going around Godzilla's spine. And yeah. Then we'll continue from there. Actually, I have an entire series planned out for Doug at this point. The Adventures of Doug and Suko. Kind of a plot or requested amongst the chat one day. We were just kind of boiling up animations ideas, and yeah, that came into fruition. So I'm probably going to use my green screen a lot for that, I think, where I'm going to use like the Hollow Earth and them kind of exploring it and getting into, well, precarious situations. I think that'll be a lot of fun. Yeah, I know, Biollante would be very cool. The only thing that I personally would be like a little bit of a nightmare is the fact that she does have so many like veins or like arms or heads, for lack of a better description. All of those have to be animated, right? So it's basically each one of those is almost a character in themselves, just moving around constantly. So from an animation standpoint, it's that character is a lot of work, but it would look really, really cool. So definitely a challenge that I'd be willing to accept. I'll put it that way. It'd be worth it. Well worth it. I can't see it being any more difficult than a melting zombie dinosaur, to put that into perspective, because that was really not, something that I don't think people really realize is as difficult as it was, because basically not only does that character have to then move as, say, a zombie or a dinosaur would, so you kind of have to give it a little bit of weird stagnant to its steps every now and then, make it look unnatural, like it's got problems, for the way I can kind of put that. And then on top of that, whilst all of that is happening, you basically have to make the skin boil and melt away while maintaining your regular animations. So it's kind of like there's a lot of things going on all at once to make it all really look, sell the effect. At least appropriately, in my opinion. You could skip it, but yeah. I think the only time I ever didn't actually skip that in the animation process on that one was when I basically only had like the very short scenes where Godzilla and him are kind of punching each other. It was like, okay, there's really no point in that. No point showing that for an extended period of time. At least that's kind of how I felt about the situation. Because the scene is like 2 seconds, and it's really just kind of fast cut where your main focus is, the monster launching itself at the other one. So I was like, you know what? Just giving myself a slight break here. Unfortunately, there's a lot of wires in my studio, so I don't want to run the main lamp one over. So, going to make some slight lighting adjustments. We're going to do a little bit of filming, so I'll direct the camera back towards Godzilla. So that way... Oh, bumping mic. My bad! Not used to that being there. That way, you guys get a better view of what's going on and not just a big lamp. It's a lot easier to go this way horizontal as opposed to vertical, so... I know it might be not necessarily the most recommended, but it probably turns out better for later viewers as well, in retrospect. People tuning in after the stream has ended. Plus, this is now all done on my tablet because I had some issues with my iPhone not having good mic. So, oh god, Doug. The Doug spams are back. Yeah. Hashtag Team Doug is in the chat. You guys are interesting. I'm honestly really surprised that, yeah, the Monsterverse hasn't actually done anything with that. Or am I just ignorant? Has the Monsterverse capitalized on the popularity of Doug? Or not? Asuka would be... Mason... Yeah, Asuka was probably one of the highlights from, hashtag Doug. God. But yeah, Asuka was definitely a nice addition to the Monsterverse. I quite enjoyed him. I'm surprised him and Kong ended up being good friends, considering how... Yeah. I love the weapon scene, but I just really question the ethics to that, because I don't think I would be friends with the person after that one. I'd be like, no, good sir. You treated me like ragdoll. Although, that being said, the alternative was Scar King, so... I guess it's either you're getting treated like a ragdoll for a short period of time, because you were kind of rude, or being kicked into a pit of lava, so I can basically understand that. Manila versus Zuko. Manila has only been requested like twice in this entire channel's existence. 3 times if you count this, but I think that would actually be a really interesting encounter for that actual adventure between Doug and Zuko. But I'm going to do a little bit of sewing with the remote, so I'll be right with you guys. Hopefully I can get this to work. Really close quarters. Let's zoom out a little bit. And there we are. And in reality, we've spent about probably 20-30 minutes so far doing all that, and all that gets shot in the actual video is about 6 seconds worth. Or 10 seconds. I think that scene was 10 seconds, but then again, I'm going to speed it up so it's like twice that, so it's only 5 seconds. Kind of part of the reason why I started streaming, just so a lot of people who are curious onto this kind of understand that this stuff takes just an incredible amount of time. Doesn't help when you make these kind of mistakes, but again, this is just me experimenting with new materials that I were hoping were going to be strong enough, but unfortunately were not. So, we get extra Godzilla surgery content, but we're going to run through this a little faster. Kong request. Okay. I think Kong is now actually
regular mop just can't.
You're now battle for first place against Doug, which I do not believe you're going to win. That sounds really strange. Never in my life did I think Kong would be defeated by a Doug. Only here at Boost Motion Animation. Actually, that'd be a really funny fight. Although, I think Kong is too kind-hearted to creatures like that in the Hollow Earth, so I could see Doug actually having a good upper hand on that sense, just because he would be able to kind of have that simple puppy dog sort of an adaptation. Because if I was Kong, I wouldn't be able to do a damn thing. I'd be like, oh, you remind me way too much of Fu. Although that being said, this thing is way bigger than me, so I shouldn't be thinking of it like a dog. Suko in the trailer. Okay. This becomes oh yeah. You seem to know your monster facts there, Jurassic Lucas. Very good. Very insightful, my friend. Honestly, I think the part that I admire the most about Kong with seeing him age is the fact that he's got that big bushy beard on his face now. I think that's really cool. So, it's kind of like one of those, I guess it's not really secret, but one of those things if you're not really fully aware or paying close attention to what's happening in the Monsterverse, it would be a detail you would probably kind of miss. For the average movie consumer, I think they just wouldn't really think anything of it. But kind of makes me curious as to how long, because we've seen Kong started to age. I'm kind of concerned at one point, are we going to see him pass away? Because obviously he's not in the same age category as Godzilla. He ages very differently in the Monsterverse from what I can understand. Because he just seems like he's been around forever. Which I don't have a problem with. I'm a big G-Man fan, to be honest. Team Godzilla. But, yeah. Not that there's anything wrong with Kong. Kong was actually a really early stop-motion film from, like, back in the 1930s. So I should probably have a lot more respect for Kong than I do, but there's something about a giant atomic dinosaur that's just way too cool. And originally, in 1954, with the original Godzilla film, they actually did want to do it in stop motion, but then they realized how long it took, so they just said, nope. And then Suitmation was born. So, there's your educational fun facts from me for the day. But I'm sure a lot of you already knew that, so yeah, if you have any interesting Godzilla lore or facts, let me know. Or just chat amongst yourselves. Be kind of interesting. Maybe one of your chat mentions will end up in the actual video, because that'll happen from time to time. I think that happened for part 2 and part 1 of Shimo, where I kind of included some of our theories in the discussion. review a little bit of footage here. Make sure I have enough. I think I do. Yeah, alright. What I'm gonna do is just slither in this last little bit of wire, and we'll move on to the next step, which will be basically gluing him back together. And hopefully it actually works this time. Kong death moment. Yeah, that would be like really sad, but I kind of have some sneaking suspicions that I don't want to, yeah. My next video might include some information in this regards that, you know, the MonsterVerse is going to continue, and that's something we may or may not see. Obviously, probably not anytime soon, but I could actually see that happening in comparison to, say, some of the other monsters. It seems to make a little more sense because we see him physically aging so much faster in comparison to the kaiju, the other kaijus, right? So, this is interesting. Because I don't think that's how it really works in technical world. Like, generally speaking, most mammals outlive reptilians, but I guess it depends. Some crocodiles do live a very long time, and some of them do. So it varies, I suppose. Nature is weird. You're never ever fully right, I suppose, when it comes to that kind of stuff. It's always changing. But that's part of the reason why I kind of find it fascinating. Especially when that new discovery on that Spinosaurus was found like 4 years ago now in 2020. That I was really excited about because, yeah, huge Spinosaurus fan. What's your favorite dinosaur, Jurassic Lucas? It's probably a good question to ask. You seem like you're a Jurassic fan. Which is honestly probably one of my favorite movies of all time. Even though it is slightly responsible for the death of stop motion. But I digress. There's actually a joke in that movie about it killing stop motion, unfortunately. Well, not really killing stop motion, but not making it prevalent in, say, movies or films anymore. In that sense. Uh-oh. I have lost the wire in his butt. Okay, plan B. I'm just going to tie it off on the back section here where I can actually see things. Therizinosaurus. That is a very good choice, my friend. Definitely one of my top picks. I at least give Therizinosaurus probably a good third place. Argentinosaurus is pretty cool. Which is a just massive sauropod. The ratios on that dinosaur were just like... When I went on a deep dive on that, it was kind of flabbergasting. Some of the bits of the spine on this thing were so big, they were as big as a brown bear. It's like, what? That's a part of my back that's equal to that? That's just crazy to really think about. And it was like close to 275,000 pounds or 100,000 tons. Like, it's just... wow. Really cool. That's why Argentinosaurus is probably my second favorite. Spino, I've just been a Spinosaurus fan for a very long time and will always be a diehard Spinosaurus fan. Tyrannosaurus Rex is cool, but I just find that's everybody's fail-safe. So, I don't mind T-Rex. I admire it for its capabilities. It is an amazing animal. But, yeah. I've always kind of had a weird love-hate relationship with that dinosaur because I just feel like it's way overdone. But for all you T-Rex fans, not that there's anything wrong with it, I just, yeah. Hate when a new dinosaur is discovered, I think is the best way to put it. And it's always compared to T-Rex. It's like you just kind of had to squeeze that in there. You couldn't just be talking about this new thing that was cool enough on its own. Okay, thanks, media. I understand, the key word, T-Rex. Like, it's very popular. Everyone knows what that is, but still. Ah. Blazeman, thanks for tuning in. Ranting about dinosaurs. The perfect stream for you. Raptors are very cool, though. I love those. Although, I just think it's really annoying how a lot of people, to this day, still believe that Jurassic Park ones would be real. And it's like, no, guys. Back in the 90s, it was accurate. Not anymore. Allo, I'm guessing Allosaurus, that's what you're referring to, but I'm not sure what the abbreviation is for that first one, Jurassic Lucas. So, after you're working on stop motion film, yes, that's the whole plan. We're basically getting Godzilla kind of prepped up for the next stop motion film. So there'll be a animation preparation video out, and then within that time span, you should be seeing probably couple supercuts. So I'm hoping to have this animation done within 2 weeks after that film, or that video's release is kind of the idea here. If that makes sense. Probably not. Let me explain it one more time, just in case that was complete gibberish. So, after the video of animation preparation and Godzilla surgeries is done, should be about 2 weeks till Shimo and Godzilla's fight is actually released. Upon that time, the channel will be staying active with essentially supercuts where you get to see the entire build process of both Godzilla and Shimo. There, I think that was a lot better. The only disappointing thing about being live, I don't have scripts where I can just kind of cut out all my mistakes. Okay, I need to grab JB Weld, so I'm gonna roll on out of here and I'll be right back. And I'm back. Back again. Yeah, I don't know what you're trying to say there. That or you're speaking to someone in the chat. I'm not sure what's going on entirely anymore. I'll just pretend like I know what is happening. But, so, JB Weld, this stuff is great. It pretty much holds everything together except for this case. This is one of the few times it's actually failed me, so what I usually do is look for like a scrap container lid of some sort to just kind of mix this stuff in, because once it's hardened, it is done. Because, yeah, might be a little hard for you guys to kind of tell, but we'll just kind of zoom in on Godzilla here. Once that stuff sets, it's very hard. Like, obviously, plasticine clay, that's mushy. This stuff will bend and move around. That, not at all. It's even harder than the actual back spikes. Sorry. So they're very, 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 very good product in some sense. So, not sponsored, but it works really well. Usually for surgeries such as this, I've done that a few times with a few other characters where things have gone bad. So, you get 2 parts to it. Obviously, you want to mix it in equal halves. And it doesn't really produce any fumes, so you guys don't really have to worry about anything toxic in that case. It's pretty mild. Or maybe I've just worked industry jobs too long in my life and I'm just kind of getting numb to it a little bit, but it is not bad. Just don't let it dry on your skin, because I would imagine if it does, you're not getting it off anytime soon. But it takes like 10 hours or 6 hours. Yeah, 6 hours to set. So that's the only downside. Basically, once that's done, I kind of had to sit there and leave him alone. Might actually, because I didn't film this part last time I kind of did it because I was a little too paranoid. What I might kind of capitalize on is the mistake and get that one scene in that I can where I'm just going to mix it together, and then I'm going to apply it, let it set, and then I'm just going to pretend I'm sticking it on for the actual video, because this part's a little nerve-wracking. So luckily for you guys, you get to see it now. Okay, let us begin. Stir stick. Because we were kind of, I guess, working against the clock, although the clock's 6 hours. So, lots of time. So I'm just gonna put my tools away. You don't want a bunch of mixed JB Weld, and I'm gonna put some on that spike too. Alright. Cool. Coolio. Where was I? Well, thanks for tuning in, Jurassic Lucas. I'm happy you were able to tune in for a bit. Yeah, Fufu is really passed out, so I don't want to bug her too much. I don't think she's joining us today. But that's okay. She's an old lady, she can do what she wants. She's earned her rights. Yeah, hi. You're not an old lady yet. No. No, animals. Hi, yes, hello, honey. Of course, we got Miss Smiley Girl back here. Of course, she turns away as soon as the camera is in her face. Yes, hi. Yeah. And the mittens. Yeah. Oh. Okay. I didn't know that, honey. What else? Did Jimmy fall in the well? No? No, okay. So much dog hair. Yeah, I've just kind of gotten accustomed to that in my life. I've had pets my entire life, and there's just pet hair everywhere. I'm okay with it. Polly does shed a lot, though. So does Foo, actually. And pug hair is really bad because it's really wiry, so it just kind of threads its way into absolutely everything, and you just can't get rid of it. It's like, So, I don't really want to talk about it too much, because obviously, yeah, I love Foo very much, but she is old, and after she is probably gone, I'm probably still going to have pug hair and everything for a number of years. But she is no spring chicken anymore, unfortunately. She's 13, 14, so she's my old lady pug. Kind of crazy to think about how long I've spent with her. I remember I was 17, 17 years old when I first, 17, 18 years old, yeah, when I had Foo. When Foo came into this world.
Team smooth or team style? Choose.
Oh, well then. Not used to iPhones anymore, it would seem. Oh, holy, holy. Hey, Hot Dragon Games, you tuned in today. Happy to see you, buddy. You're probably happy to make it. Do you own airbrush? I used to. Hello. Where are you from? Hello. That's, yeah. English is obviously not your first language. That's interesting. I'm Canadian, eh? Much talk here. I mean, out of play yesterday. Oh, that's really cool place, man. I'll have to check that out. Did you post anything on YouTube? Because I know sometimes you do and don't, so. Do you use airbrush? If so, so good. So. Oh, yeah, I know. Honestly, I thought about getting like one of those tiny detail brushes. I used to have one when I was younger for like model car stuff. But doing like this back spikes in particular, I think would be really, really cool. So I might make that investment in the near future now, especially that you kind of brought it up. It's like a reminder. Because I think I have one kicking around, but it's kind of old and it was in a lot of pieces because I had to take it apart for cleaning purposes. But I just never got back around to it. Life happened, so. Probably best to just start anew instead of trying to dig around and find something that may or may not work. Alright, so what I'm going to be doing now is JB welding Godzilla's spine back together for this last little segment, and then I pretty much gotta leave him alone. So we're gonna get everything as separated as much as possible and try not to get JB weld on his spines, but we've already done that. And basically just sandwich things in between my failed attempt and this attempt. I have to use my arm as JB weld support. And the sad part is, I'm not going to know if this stuff actually worked until tomorrow. Hopefully it does. Squish. My in-stream sound effects. Okay. So basically, whatever I didn't have time to stream yesterday, you ended up seeing today. It's kind of how this one ended up working out, I guess. But overall, I think this... Oh no, he's already falling. Overall, I think this will probably work out to be better than it could have been otherwise, because we probably would have just broken Godzilla's back once I got them all back together, and then it'd be starting back over, and then I would have been even more upset, so probably a good thing he broke now. I'm just gonna put that down there. I don't want to get jammed on my brand new microphone. That would be bad. Alright, and the excess of this smushed it in there. I'm just going to kind of now massage into the actual rest of the JB weld glob. Might not be the prettiest thing, but no one's going to see it once it's all covered up, so. Visually, that is not our biggest concern right now. We just want to make sure he works properly. And I'm adjusting this rod in the back a lot here to make sure things stay where I want. Because now... yeah, okay. That does not work. So now I'm going to try and get that lower half. I almost maybe should have started that with at the beginning. But we're working our way down. I might have to mix up a little bit more JB Weld too. I need to create a playlist for all of this. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Hey, Jake, thanks for tuning in, buddy. Hopefully you're doing well. Better than Godzilla. Wish it showed up on the tablet, but it doesn't. Not yet. Animation's at 204 frames. Wow, that's a big project. No, I'm not a YouTuber yet, but hopefully going to be one day soon. It's a lot of work, man. I'll put it that way. It's a lot of work. You're gonna have to really grind in order to get there. I have, and I'm still in that process, but hopefully you can make it. So, best of wishes, and yeah. Don't be shy. That's the biggest advice I can give you. Share whatever you can. Don't know what other Easter egg kaijus add. I have Toothless, Sugary, Human, 400. That's pretty decent. I had a lot of frames there. A lot of mine end up being into the thousands, unfortunately. I'm just kind of get almost numb to the amount of frames that I take sometimes. It's like, I think my record so far is like 5,000 something. Yeah. Gets a bit intense sometimes, so I feel the pain of frames. When you start talking hundreds and you get to thousands and they're just like, oh god. It's a lot of work being an animator, but it's a lot of fun because you can basically create something out of nothing and get to tell really cool stories with creatures that may or may not have ever existed, right? So, yeah. Animation is fun no matter how you do it. So I know your style is just a little bit different than probably a lot of the people in this group. The vast majority of us are claymation or stop motion people, so... Not sure if you do actually do a little bit of stop motion there, Hot Dragon. Or Dragon Games, what's your name? Hot Dragon Games, yep. Mr. Mitties, can you hold still? Mr. Mitt's still in my lap, so he's hanging out here. So we'll have extra cat hair on top of the dog hair. Pet hair everywhere. Yeah, I'm gonna mix up a little bit more. So I'll mix up some more JB Weld, stick that on here, so I may be just slightly, for lack of a better term, antisocial with the chat, so you guys can talk amongst yourselves or fire away some questions or requests or whatever it is you want to say, and I will get with you momentarily before things end here. So, let the mixing begin. Hopefully, Godzilla will be okay after all of this. Starting to have my doubts and my worries, but I think we'll be okay. It's just taking a little bit more JB Weld and glue than I would hope. Just starting to get low on. Gonna have to make a trip to the automobile store, because I don't think this stuff is really sold in arts and crafts very often, but either way they're probably gonna rip you off for it there. Yeah, once upon a time was a big car guy, but that stuff did not serve me very well YouTube analytic wise. So I'm Evan, and I like to mix stop motion movie monsters and dinosaurs. Need to grab some paper towel here, guys. I've got some JB Weld on my hands, so kind of want to get rid of that stuff. Bye, Mr. Mittens. Stuff doesn't set for like 6 hours, so it'll be fine, but I just want to get a good chunk of that off before it becomes any sort of an issue. Probably should wear gloves, but again, yeah, industry jobs. My hands have been through enough. Holly, be nice. Leave the cat alone. Go lay down. Thank you. Grumpy Gus. German Shepherds. I love her, but she can be a bit of a dink. For lack of any, yeah. Not my choice of words. She can be a real female dog sometimes. That's okay, because she is a female dog. Yeah, that wasn't a compliment, honey. Go lay down. I'm trying to be mean to Mr. Mitz, so... Now, one thing you want to avoid whilst doing all of this is not getting any on the actual clay. It's not the end of the world if you do. But if it does happen, that stuff's pretty much, yeah, you gotta peel that layer of it off. Is NFG. How I can get away with swearing and you don't even know. NFG is an acronym. Sure, if you have half a brain, you can put those two and two together. Okay. Now I need to get myself out of this position so I'm not holding them together. So I have to find something to kind of hold up the support rod for now before I get into you guys back in the chat. See where things are at. So we're just going to use the spike box that currently has the spikes that I had to remove for the surgery. And just get that to hold him up. Awesome. Yay! Now stay. I have a little bit left over and I'm not one to waste material, so I'm just going to cover up any spots that look like they might be a little lighter on the JB weld. I don't want to do this again. Bad Godzilla. It's almost like he doesn't want to fight Shimo. Oh yeah, I have to glue that spike in too. This spike will probably be the strongest one on Godzilla from here on out. Well, this is probably a good thing I had to add some more JB Weld, because now that mesh stuff is kind of included with it. Which probably will give it a better surface area to bite into, making it all just a lot stronger. So, win-lose situation there, guys. But just about done, and then I'll be back into the chat. hopefully you guys don't get a view of the back of my head too much. I'm trying to avoid that, but if it happens, I'm sorry. Just bear in mind I'm trying to surgically repair a armature doll that took me about a month to make, so I'm gonna do it anyway. I don't know if I can get away with piling up much more, but I still have some left, so I'm trying to use it. Because I might even just honestly, before I go to bed, once this stuff is about halfway set, just throw on another layer, just to be safe. But I think that's about as good as I'm going to get away with it for now. Okay, now, before I join you guys in the chat, I might just want to adjust, make sure he's standing in an appropriate position. Because, like I said before, once this stuff does dry, it gets really, really hard. And if it did work properly, it's not, yeah, you're not getting it back. Although, it is wire, it should be able to move around a little bit. But, that being said, better safe than sorry. I'm already sorry. Okay. Now just putting some plasticine clay on top of that support rod to just make sure that that holds it more in place, and I'm probably going to put some on that box too, so just so it doesn't shift around. That's cutting Godzilla's spine. We're fixing it. It's either that or we would have this big ugly support rod in the middle. So, this is basically kind of one of those areas where I made a mistake, sadly. It happens from time to time. But, either way, I have a lot of experience with it, but it didn't pay off this time. I had used really thick armature wire for this sculpture in comparison to my most, just so people are aware. This is what I used, and this is the stuff that I used to use. So you can see the thickness comparison there. Like this stuff is, yeah, quite a bit thicker. This is like 1/16 of an inch. This stuff's like 1/8 of an inch, so nearly twice the thickness. But it still wasn't enough for this jacked Godzilla. So I've now taken basically a single spine and wrapped that around, so with extra security and JB weld. Hopefully he can stand up on his own securely now after the clay's in place, because he doesn't have any muscles to help hold him upright. So right now he's all just kind of very unstable. My animation is going to be 300 or 400. I only have like 4 months until 15, so yeah, hopefully I'm going to start. Yeah, that makes sense. I understand that YouTube kind of has this weird age restriction for a lot of this stuff, and personally, I probably should have. I had thoughts to start a YouTube many years ago when it first started. That's how old I am. I remember when YouTube wasn't a thing. But yeah, in retrospect, I probably should have started this adventure much sooner in my life. I'd probably be in a different situation than I am now, but either way, better late than never, so hey guys! Unfortunately, yeah, while we're on the topic, for those of you may be unaware, basically, the whole reason I actually started this channel was a near-death experience, for lack of a better description. I know that sounds like it's kind of clickbaity, but obviously it can't be, because that's not what I'm titling anything. But I got into a car accident with a moose, and after nearly having my head shoved up its butt, I decided to not waste any more time with doing things that I've wanted to do, and this was one of them, so I dove right into it. And it's been a lot of fun ever since, so, yeah. Thanks, Moose, I guess. But, yeah, you know where Milton came from now. The main character, or the mascot of the whole channel. This adorable little character. The giant white legs, in particular. Because that's kind of what I remember seeing. Cool. Anyway. Moving on. Cheetah Island, hello! Thanks for tuning in, buddy. Glad you could make it. To them to my heat ray version. See, I responded to you earlier. I'm way behind on the chat a little bit, but that's okay. Catching up. How long have you been on? I have been on YouTube for about 5-6 years now, give or take. So, been a while. I think I started this shortly into the pandemic. Yeah. So, yeah, about 4 or 5 years, give or take. Oh, Pacific. If you could add in a Jaeger, that would be really cool. I'm kind of a big Jaeger fan. I like them. I think they're really epic. I haven't seen Pacific Rim for a long time. I honestly might try and watch some of those movies tonight, if I get time. Been going through a lot of audiobooks. That's usually kind of a big source of entertainment for me personally. Jurassic Park being my favorite book of all time, obviously. I highly recommend it if you're a big dinosaur or monster nerd. You're probably going to love that one. Aside from all of that, I'm going through Dune. I know that's technically another movie that Legendary is working on, so the book's actually pretty good. Be it a little strange, but yeah, definitely interesting. Oh wow, you've been around for quite some time then. 2017, 2018. Yeah, I must be just getting older because time flies really fast at this point for me personally. It's just like, wow, I don't know how it hasn't felt like I've been on this platform for that long. Sometimes I have to just kind of sit back and go, wow, I've been here for that many years. I suppose time flies when you're having fun, so you don't really think about it that way. So it's probably a good thing. Be here for a lot longer, pretty sure. You know, unless some drastic cancellation thing happens, but I really don't see that ever happening. But either way, my voice is starting to get a little hoarse from talking so much, so get through a couple more things here and then we'll probably call it in today, guys. I've made about 15 clay characters. My favorite are the dinosaurs. Oh, cool. Actually, I'm kind of curious. How many clay characters do I have? I know there's more throughout my house. There's some downstairs. And in my living room shelf. King Ghidorah's in there with 3 cars. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 3 human characters. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17... 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Approximately 32. Okay, 34. There's the Allosaurus over there. Cryolophosaurus, 35. My astronaut, that was a failed project that never actually got completed on here, but I guess that's another one. So we're at 36, approximately. And that's not including all the other little clay props that I've made for them, like SCPs, surgery tools set up over there, and other things. I've been doing this a long time. A lot longer than I've been on YouTube, but unfortunately not all of my characters have made it throughout the years. Maybe one day I'll bring some of my original sculptures that I made when I was a kid. I still have some of those from when I was like 10, maybe 6 years old. So obviously the quality is not the same, but maybe if, I'll think of a benchmark for us during the next stream, and maybe I'll bring those on, so we'll see.
First, they're sour. And then they're sweet. Sour Patch Kids.
Oh, don't worry about your spelling, man. I can't spell at all. I have dyslexia, so no one's gonna judge you for that here. And if they do, then they're probably gonna get banned. So yeah, just fair warning, everyone. Don't pick on anyone for spelling or misreading stuff because I don't really have a huge tolerance for that. I'm usually a pretty laid back person, but that's something that I just don't really have a whole lot of tolerance for, is harassing people in that regards, especially when it comes to a disability that they can't help. And that's been something I've had dealt with a number of years. So not happening here. I'm the boss, so don't worry about it. As long as I understand, that's all that matters. If I can't, then I'm just gonna be like, sorry. Like, either that's you or me. So, yeah, again, don't worry. See you later, Cheetah Island. Thanks for tuning in, buddy. You pretty much made it to the end today, so... Usually my streams are about 1 hour and 20 minutes long, maybe 1 hour and 30. I think the longest one's about 2 hours, where I kind of set a challenge for myself to finish a project, but yeah. Anyway, thanks, bud. See you next time. Sorry I'm late, Kingzilla. Oh no, yeah, you're pretty much right at the end, so... If you have any requests, or... Yeah, 36, if not more. There's probably a lot more. That's not counting any of the ones in my basement, or the very, very old ones that I don't do anything with. So, next stream, we'll set a benchmark for those, and maybe I'll bring out some of the original characters that are probably like 20 years plus old. Stuff that I made when I was a kid. So I might bring that on. I think that'll be pretty interesting to kind of see how far I've gone, so... But yeah. That's okay, better late than never, right? But there'll be another one probably tomorrow. Hopefully we are not doing back surgery. I'm hoping to move on to basically a little bit of, the only other operations we have left on Godzilla at this point, as long as the spine works accordingly, is the thegmizers, because I'm not happy with the way I can just kind of, like, drop those out. Basically, I just did a little spike and held them in place, which did not work, unfortunately. It was, like... Yeah, I remember just kind of going, I need to get this project done, so let's just make it work for now. Part of the reason why it was done that way, in retrospect, big mistake, when I was working on Shimo. Oh god, okay, maybe we can't get that far. Oh, you get to see Headless Sue. Okay, I'm just gonna bring Shimo over here. You fat dino. Okay, yeah, her tail technically is all attached from end to end. So that's what I'm going to do with Godzilla's thegmizers, is basically attach the end pieces and then have the tail, that thing's heavy, hold it in the middle, so that way they have a lot more security, because right now if I use Godzilla's tail as a thegmizer, it's not going to work. Oh, yeah, that would be really cool, Hot Dragon, Pacific Rim versus, whatchamacallit, Godzilla. I would be really willing to see that. But yeah, let me know when you're done that animation, because I'm itching to definitely see it. But at any rate, I think I'm going to call it quits for the stream, guys. So that's enough from me. Till next time, take it easy, and if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like the content, comment below what you think, share with friends, and perhaps consider subscribing if new. Anyway, that's enough for Godzilla surgery today. Well, at least on the live stream. There'll be more.